Okay, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're doing something maybe a little different. We're really zeroing in on just one thing, a single song. It's This Road by the artist Poe.
Yeah, fascinating choice. And our main source here, what we're digging into, is basically the Genius.com page for the song. So that gives us the lyrics, obviously, but also release info, credits, all that background stuff.
Right. And our mission, you could say, for this deep dive is to really unpack this one song. We want to look at, where it came from, how it fits into this bigger picture, which is pretty surprising, and especially the world that the lyrics paint. We'll pull out the key ideas, maybe some details you missed.
Get ready then, because it's definitely a winding road. This one talks about loops, maybe even a spiral. It gets interesting.
Let's just jump right in, because the first thing from the source, the context, it's kind of staggering. This is Poe's first official release as Poe in, what, over 2 decades?
23 years, yeah. It's huge. A really, really long time.
An incredible return.
It really is. And what's so interesting right off the bat is why now and how. It's directly connected to a video game, Alan Wake 2. You actually hear the song in the game.
So only in the game at first. That's pretty exclusive.
Initially, yeah. But the Genius notes add a twist here. They mentioned it was actually teased, like way back 2012.
2012, seriously?
Yeah, apparently Poe put up a video on YouTube titled September 30, 1955. And in that video was like 55 seconds of an early version of this track.
Wow. So this song has been around in some form for over a decade before we actually got the full thing.
Exactly, a long gestation period.
So it's in the game. It was teased years ago. How did people finally get to, just listen to it?
Well, the info says there was a limited edition vinyl single that came out October 22nd, 2024. And that vinyl is interesting because it has This Road as one continuous track, which is listed as AEW, or Alan Wake, presumably, plus an unreleased B-side called Six Deep Breaths Expended.
Okay, so vinyl gets you the single track experience, because the source also points out if you look on streaming, it's different, right?
Totally different. On streaming, it's split into 4 parts. You've got the beginning, then the mirror is a trap, the dark chamber, and finally falling apart.
4 distinct sections.
Exactly. Which, kind of suggests maybe that mirrors how you encounter it in the game. Like different stages or feelings as you play.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, connecting the structure to the game experience. Now, looking at who made this happen, the credits. Poe is listed as producer and lyricist, but also as a writer alongside someone else, Sam Lake.
Right. And Sam Lake, for anyone who knows the game, he's the creative director at Remedy, the driving force behind Alan Wake. Having him as a co-writer, that really tells you something.
Yeah, it implies this wasn't just, hey, can we use your song?
Definitely not. It suggests it was woven into the game's story, its themes, right from the start, much more integrated.
That definitely ups the significance. Okay, strolling down the credits, musicians, Martin Estrada on electric guitar, Dan Seif on bass, Miles Senzaki on drums.
And keyboards Poe herself, plus Brockett Parsons and Taylor McFerrin.
And the mixing and mastering. Daryl Thorpe handled both.
So you see the team there, bringing this track, which had been around conceptually for so long, finally to life.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's the context. Let's follow this road, as the song says, into the lyrics themselves, because this is where it really starts painting that picture. And it hits those core themes straight away.
It really does. You get that opening line, "I'm getting off this time." It sounds determined, maybe desperate. But then, boom, instantly countered by that phrase that just echoes through the whole song, "Loops forever."
Loops forever. Yeah, it feels so final, inescapable. It's in the intro, the chorus, the bridge, everywhere. And the central image tied to it is this road that I lose you on every time.
Right. That sets up the core struggle immediately. You're stuck on this path, this winding road, and the same awful thing, losing someone, just happens again and again.
And that feeling of being trapped, of being seen but not connected, is so clear in that first verse. I can see you there, but you don't see me anywhere. I'm right in front of you. I'm right here on this winding road. Ugh, that's painful.
It really is. That proximity without connection. It makes you wonder about perception, reality within this song's world. Like the line, "Is it your face on a pane of glass?"
Right.
Because somehow this window becomes a trap.
Yeah, the trap idea.
Even something meant for seeing through, a window, becomes part of the confinement. It's not just a barrier, it is the trap.
And the questions reinforce that, don't they? Will it ever let me go? And those lines about being caught.
Forever I am fading to black.
Yeah.
Forever I am circling back. just to fall into this trap, this winding road.
Yeah, the repetition of forever just drives home that feeling. It's suffocating. Like, it's not just a bad phase, it's permanent.
It feels like an eternal condition within the song's logic.
Then verse 2. It seems to take that winding road idea and pull it inwards, maybe. It talks about words not being meant for the listener. Maybe it's only a dream on a winding road. But then that line, now that you're in my bed, in the dark chamber of my head. Whew.
The dark chamber of my head. That's such a striking phrase, isn't it? It really suggests this road might not just be external, it could be psychological. An internal landscape, a mental prison.
Totally. And the line right after that, I flip you over until you bend this winding road. It's quite jarring.
It is. It sounds like a struggle, maybe trying to force a change within that internal space.
Yeah.
Trying to manipulate the narrative somehow.
It adds this layer of intensity, maybe even violence or control within that confined mental state.
And then the bridge leans right into paradox.
Right. It's just the beginning, only the ending winding through me now. Repeated.
It just blurs everything. If the road loops forever, beginning and ending aren't separate. They're maybe the same point, constantly meeting. Reinforces that feeling of being trapped, no exit, no real conclusion.
Okay, so we've built up this really strong picture. Looping road, winding, loss, being trapped, maybe internally, forever. But then, right at the end, in the outro, something shifts, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge shift. We still get the loops forever. Okay. But that key line about the consequence of being on the road, it flips.
Throughout the whole song, the chorus hammers. This road that I lose you on every time, lose you.
But the outro changes it. It becomes, this road that I find you on.
Find you.
And repeats it. This road that I find you on every time I find you.
Whoa, okay, that's completely different. That changes the nature of the loop, right? If finding is also part of the cycle.
Exactly. It suggests the loop isn't just about loss. It might contain both. Repeated loss, but also repeated finding. It complicates the cycle immensely.
It adds a whole new dimension.
And right as that shift happens, from losing to finding, that final phrase emerges. Repeatedly.
It's a spiral.
It's a spiral. Multiple times. Almost like a final definition or revelation of what this road actually is.
Okay, wait. So after all the emphasis on loop, suddenly it's a spiral. What? How's that different?
Well, think about it. A loop, like a circle, is closed. You end up exactly where you started, over and over. Same point. A spiral. It's still cyclical, it still goes around, but it's also moving, either inwards, towards the center, or outwards.
Ah, okay. So it implies change, movement, even if you're revisiting similar themes or events.
Precisely. It suggests progression, or maybe regression, but movement along an axis while still circling. You don't just return to the exact same spot.
So the road might feel like an inescapable loop of losing and finding, but maybe its underlying structure is actually taking you somewhere, deeper in or further out.
That seems to be what the shift to spiral implies. It adds this incredible layer of complexity right at the conclusion. The experience might repeat, but the journey itself might be evolving or descending or ascending.
And the phrase forever and ever is tucked in there too, linking the spiral back to that unending quality.
Right, it connects the two. It acknowledges the infinite duration we heard about with the loop, but maybe redefines the shape of that infinity. Not just flat repetition, but spiraling.
Wow. Okay. So we've really traveled down this road today. We looked at its context, Alan Wake second, that incredible 23-year gap for Poe, the whole vinyl versus streaming thing.
Yeah, and the creative team, especially that Sam Lake co-writing credit, suggesting deep integration with the game.
And then we dove into the lyrics, that powerful imagery of the winding road, the feeling of it looping forever.
That sense of being trapped, of losing someone repeatedly on that path, the internal dark chamber, really evocative stuff.
But then that crucial twist in the outro, where lose you becomes find you, a fundamental change.
Followed immediately by that final resonant word, spiral. Leaving us with this image, a road that loops forever, where loss turns to finding, but is ultimately perhaps a spiral.
So as you, the listener, think about this deep dive we took into this road, here's something to maybe mull over. If the song insists the road loops forever, what does it really mean when it ends by calling it a spiral? How does thinking of it as a spiral instead of just a loop change how you understand that endless journey described in the song?